Yo, it's yo boy, Orion, one half of the Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Well, we saw Zeke get paid. He got his bag. He got his money. He thinks that he's the best running back in the league. Is he? I want to go over my top five. We're just getting to the point where we're almost at the regular season. I can't believe it. It's finally here. All the grinding, all the training camp, all the websites, all the reading, pretty much all the tape I've been watching all comes down to this. We finally get to our regular season. Michael Pierpont, what it do? Sam, what's up? Edgar Montoya, what's good? Are you guys excited? Packers, Bears tomorrow. It's going to be insane. So I wanted to do this original content video to kind of go over my personal top five, not ESPN, nope. Not CBS Sports, nope. Not Fox Sports, Skip and Shannon, nope. But this is mine. So it's not going to be what everyone else says. It's based on the tape that I watch, the stats that I'll bring up, right? Men lie, women lie, right? The facts don't lie. So I'm going to be able to give you kind of my breakdown. I know you guys are ready. We're getting right into that point. And I'm going to also do a Friday Fanatic Fantasy kind of help video for, newbies that need help with their fantasy lineups, to get it, pretty much projected set up to where they can win. Who do they start between Mike Evans or DeAndre Hopkins, different matchups here and there. But Fantasy Football Fridays, Fanatic style. I'm going to be doing it every Friday. Obviously, once I do that stream, donations are definitely going to be accepted. If you're in a money league, one of the money leagues that I'm in right now, $1,200. Let me say that again. 12-man league, $1,200 for first place. And then, with drafting, and then they have like the grades that they do. Who do you think got an A grade and the best in that 12-man league draft? Ya boy. So, it really depends. There is a strategy with fantasy. Everyone can play, but not everyone can set their lineups correctly. You can have the right team. You can have the right pieces, but sometimes leaving that one guy on the bench, that flex running back, or putting in a wide receiver in the flex spot instead of maybe that third option running back like a Darius Geis, instead of maybe putting in a wide receiver that you think is going to be able to get the points, the yards, the touchdowns. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Turf, grass, what the weather's going to be like. Is it home or is it away? There's a lot of factors involved. How good is the defense for those players that are going against? You got to kind of look into that. But I want to go over my top five. You obviously saw me do the Zeke video. And he got paid yum, 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 yum. So we obviously saw, what he got for his money. Pretty amazing if you really think about it with the money that he got. I'm not really sure if everyone thinks that he is the best, obviously in the NFL. I mean, and for me, you got to understand, I'm not a hater, right? So I'm not going to go over the fact of, he's on the Dallas Cowboys or all Dallas Cowboy players suck. All Patriot players suck. I'm not going to go at it like that. I go based off the facts and, based on how he plays, what he means to the team and what he does. But I mean, with the money that he got, it's I don't know if it was shocking to you guys. So 6 years, $90 million. God, he got his cheddar, didn't he? All the cheddar, the Gouda, all of it. $90 million, $50 million guaranteed. So obviously Jerry Jones is wiping his ass with, $100 bills. He knew with that elite O-line and defense and Dak and all the other people that he's got paid already on the O-line and on the defense, you need Zeke. I mean, regardless if you loved him at Ohio State, the Ohio State University, or you didn't like him at all, or he's on the Cowboys and you're just a hater, right? Regardless if you're an Eagle fan and there's, resentment there. I get it. Rivalries are real. But I want to go over facts. I want to go over stats so we can kind of go over what the running back position means. It seems like a lot of people nowadays, media, right? People on podcasts, ESPN and all that, they try to say the running back position is overvalued. You can just throw in Eckler or a Jackson, instead of Melvin Gordon, you're still going to be able to get to the Super Bowl. Guess what I have to say to that? Bullshit. You're not going to get to the Super Bowl or even get to the AFC Championship game without your stud, without Zeke. Do you think they can make an NFC Championship game, let alone the playoffs? No. You need him. You need your workhorse. Do I like Tony Pollard? Yes. Right? Do I like Henderson from the Rams? Yes. But are they going to be able to be better than Gurley? I mean, on half a knee or a healthy Zeke? I mean, let's be real about it. You need your stud running backs. And you need a plethora of running backs. The four horsemen, when the Eagles won the Super Bowl against the Pats, they needed all of them. Each guy did his role, but you're going to need that guy and usually someone to be a third down, change of pace back, maybe a smaller type of back. But you also need another guy, typically there, 3 or 4, to help you out along the way. I mean, if you just have one bell cow, pretty much he's going to run out of milk at some point before we get to the end of the season. NFL is a man's game, and we know that no matter how good you take care of your body, unless you're TB12 and Tom Brady, your body's probably going to break down unless you're putting in steroids or PEDs or whatever the hell Tom Brady's putting in his body. They say he's 40-something. I don't know. His body is probably like 25 based on all the nutrients and bullshit that he puts in there. But I want to go over my top 5 right now, today. All right, we're going to the regular season tomorrow. Are you guys fucking ready? Regular season tomorrow, where it all means something. Fantasy football, you guys have questions. I'll be able to lay those out as well. I'll be able to help you guys get your lineup set up perfectly. I'll be doing that on Friday, or maybe even tonight if you guys have some questions with lineups, if you guys got people in the Bears and the Packers. I mean, it's kind of no-brainers. You got Aaron Jones, start him, duh. You got Bears D, start him, duh. I mean, unless you have some other defense that you can put in there. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is going to get his. So the Bears defense isn't going to score as much points compared to like a Detroit Lion matchup. I get it. But there's still pick 6 opportunities. There's still going to be sack opportunities. And even though that they won't score as much, the Bears are still the best defense in the NFL. And they're in this matchup this week. Even if it's Aaron Rodgers, you're probably still going to have a top 3, top 4 option overall compared to all the other matchups, in my opinion. So let's start it off with the list. And I'll go over kind of an honorable mention, and I'll go over some names. And obviously, if you're a homer to this team, you know, you're not going to maybe agree with me. But as everyone knows that's in the room right now, before I get into the video, make sure you subscribe to the fucking channel. Smash the like button if you guys haven't done it. The grind to 20K is real. You know I'm going to give you the juice. I'm going to give you a good video every single time I come on with the live stream. I appreciate every single one of y'all, and we're going to be able to enjoy this NFL season all the way through, okay? So listen to what I have to say before you overreact if I criticize your running back or you don't think that what I'm saying is true. And this is from an outsider perspective that doesn't have any bias, any type of, affiliation, any type of homerness towards one group or another. I'm a Buccaneer fan. I mean, if you can't believe a Buccaneer fan, who the fuck are you going to believe? You can go to some of those other YouTube channels. You want to listen to Skip and Shannon, and you want to hear a bunch of shit, you can go ahead and do that. But I know you guys respect me, especially being a shitty Buccaneer fan. You know what I mean? The team sucks. Right? I'm not a shitty fan, but the team is shitty. And let's be real. I mean, for someone to keep rooting for a team that has no fucking hope, and all these people that keep telling me, hey, Orion, your Bucs look kind of good. You guys are going to be a threat. You're going to be a problem. You got 3 new coaches. Who cares? You got Jameis Winston back there stealing crab legs during the offseason. It's not going to work out. I'm telling you right now, it is not going to work out. They'll only win 5 to 7 games, if that. And I'm hoping they win less so I can get a better quarterback and get his ass out of there. But let's go over like an honorable mention that I have. So this guy is one of the only guys that's not signed just yet. So I wanted to go over his stats and kind of break him down. So let's go over Melvin Gordon. Do I have him in my top 5? No. But if he can get his ass on a team, the Buccaneers want him. I know they may want like a first round or a third round or some compensation for 2020, 2021. If the Buccaneers were smart, if the Texans were smart, fuck Duke Johnson, right? Fuck Carlos Hyde. If you need a better running back, Melvin Gordon could take that Houston Texan team to a team that would go to the playoffs and lose in the first round. You have Melvin Gordon to the Texans. You could probably get out of the first round. It's possible. You need a little bit more help. No Jadeveon Clowney. You need help. Duke Johnson ain't going to do it. He's not as good as Lamar Miller, right? And then Carlos Hyde gets in there. He'll probably do worse. I mean, you're hoping that he's going to do good if you have him in fantasy, but in reality, they're not that good. Let's be real about it. But Melvin Gordon, come to the Bucs. I'm just saying, I need somebody desperately. Rushing yards last year, 885. So that was a little bit lower because, I'm doing the research. I got to make sure I drop the facts, the sport fanatic, fact bomb. I got to drop it for you guys. 885 yards. I thought he had a little more. I could have swore that he was closer to 1,000, but I guess I was wrong, right? 10 TDs. I knew that. 5.1 average. I love that. So, he can pound the rock. He gets the yards. He leans forward. 50 receptions, which is a little low. I thought that was a little higher too. 490 yards and 4 TDs. So if you're basing it off TDs, great, right? 14 combined. But if you look at the yardage, 885 and 490, you know what I mean? That's not top 5 status. I mean, could he get into that top 5 category with a couple more beast years under his belt? It's possible, but he's kind of on the outside looking in. Still a great running back, somewhere between 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, he's going to be able to rotate up and down that scale. But to me, I'm not sure if he's ever going to be a top 5 running back with all the talent that we have now, right? Plus the new talent that will be coming in, right, from college. But he'll be right there teetering, you know, maybe at the very best in his career if he, you know, peaks, maybe number 5. And that's saying something. We have a lot of competition in this thing that we call the NFL that we all love. You love it. I love it. We all love it, okay? So 885, 10 TDs, 5.1 average. I like the 5.1. 50 receptions, 494 TDs. That's not going to cut it with the elites, all right? And I saw Ruiz LA Rams here, right? And obviously you love Todd Gurley. I get it, right? If you go back a couple years, this is how it went down within about 2 to 3 years ago. Todd Gurley 1, Le'Veon Bell 2, right? Let's be real. Or you could even go Le'Veon Bell and then Todd Gurley. Previous to the last 2 seasons, right? They were all kind of mixed together at the top, and then you had Zeke 3. And then there was no really debate. I mean, those were the ones. This is before Christian McCaffrey. This is before AK-41, the alien, Alvin Kamara, right? This was before some of the other guys came in there, right? But as things changed, the landscape has changed, right? Le'Veon Bell is going to a team that has a shittier O-line and shittier weapons. But the bonus, he's had a year to heal. The body was banged up. So I'm excited to see what he can do. But for Todd Gurley, you know, he was number 1 for the last couple years. His stat line is fucking amazing. I mean, it's like that Aaron Donald shit, that Patrick Mahomes shit. And the only reason that people say anything about Todd Gurley is what? Is concerns about the knee. It's not like we're hating and saying, oh, Todd Gurley is going from number 1 and out of the top 5 because we don't like him, or he's a fraud, or he just couldn't complete, you know, the long season run of an NFL season, and then he pussied out, you know, towards the end of the year and couldn't get it done. He was too hurt. I mean, it's the NFL. It's a man's game. But look at the stats though while he was playing hurt, right before they obviously had a little help there. 1,251 yards. 17 TDs, 4.9 average. That's insane. 17? I mean, that's like some Sean Alexander fucking numbers back when they went into the Super Bowl, I think in like, 05 against Pittsburgh? I mean, that's beast mode shit. I mean, we're talking about like Barry Sanders, like one of the all-time greats, like Walter Payton. Todd Gurley's one of those guys, right? 59 receptions, 580 yards, 4 TDs receiving. That part could be a little bit higher. But with that being said, 17 and 4 equals what? 21. I like to see other running backs get fucking 21 touchdowns in a season combined rushing and receiving. And then check it out. You go back in 2017, because you know your boy does his homework. 19 combined TDs in 2017, 21 in 2018. Let's add those numbers up. That's a 40 spot. 40 spot in 2 years. There is a reason with Sean McVay and Wade Phillips and with Goff and the Goffense that this team got to the Super Bowl. Yeah, there was a pass interference call that didn't get called, right? The Saints probably should have went. The Chiefs probably should have went. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, but it didn't happen. But those teams are going to be motivated to get there this year. But with all that being said, right, he's still dominated, right? So I have Melvin Gordon right now on my outside of my top 5. I desperately want to put Todd Gurley in my top 5, right? I wanted to put him in there. But also, too, you have to understand, you have to have longevity. You just can't do it for a year or 2 or, 3 or 4. I mean, you need to keep on doing it year in and year out. Some of these guys are in early stages of their career, right? So we can't predict on what's going to happen. Other guys have played for a few years, right? But for me, right now, and obviously Ruiz and some of the Rams fans, they might get mad at me and, they can say this or say that. But I know all y'all are thinking the same thing too. There is a reason why Todd Gurley in fantasy drafts, in mine, in yours, in your friends, in your mama's, didn't go top 5 this season. Why the fuck is that? Why did Todd Gurley not go top 5 in any motherfucking fantasy draft? Tell me. I'm waiting. Tell me why. Because of the motherfucking knee. The knee is a concern. You picked Henderson in the 3rd round. It is a concern. If the knee wasn't that bad, he would have went top 5, top 4, top 3, maybe number 1 again, right? But there's a concern there. So for that reason alone, he is the most dominant back when healthy, in my opinion, right? But the knee isn't necessarily, I need to see it. It's a prove it. I need to be able to, see him play, get all the way to week 8. How many carries is he going to get? That's another thing that he didn't get picked that high, right? Is he going to get 10 carries? Is he going to get 15? Or is he going to get somewhere between like 8 and 12? How many receptions is he going to get or attempts, catching the football? I don't fucking know. And that for sole reason alone, I got to put Todd Gurley right now, just because it's an unknown to me. I got to put him at number 6. I want to put him at top 1, 2, 3. And if he was healthy, I want to. Trust me. 40 touchdowns in 2 fucking seasons. I mean, how many running backs would be able to put up stat lines like that? There's probably only 2 other running backs, maybe 3, that could get close to something like that, right? Or maybe even surpass one of those seasons of a 19 or 21. I mean, we're talking about one of the best football players that's ever played. And it sucks for me, and even though I'm not a Rams fan, for football, you don't want to see guys have the Brandon Roy. I already went through that, right? Rookie of the year, all-star, goes to the Timberwolves, no more knee cartilage, and then you're fucked, and then your career's over. You're still a legend, right, for the time that you played. I'd rather have you be elite for 4 or 5 years and then leave than be average for 10 or 12, right? It's all about legacy and who you are and what you're trying to do. But just for that sole reason of the knee, I don't know. If he ends up playing this whole year and they get to the Super Bowl again and win it, fantastic. That would be awesome to show, hey, everyone, it's not a middle finger to everyone, but it's a legitimate concern when you draft a running back in the draft that high. If he's not 100%, and I don't know what he's going to get. I hope he gets 20 carries a game. I hope he gets 5 to 10 looks in the passing game a game. And I hope that they end up competing in the NFC, right, with the Saints and the Eagles and the Bears and the Cowboys and the Seahawks. I want to see it. The rivalry is going to be better for the Seahawks and the Rams, if they're healthy. The Rams and the Saints, better when he's healthy than when he's not. So for that sole fact alone, I got to put him at 6. So Rams fans, you can get mad at me. Ruiz, you might get mad, but that's the bottom line. And I'm not the only one that'll say it. You know what I mean? I have the platform here on the YouTube channel, but I guarantee you with what I'm saying right now, I'm not the only one in this motherfucking room, and I'm not the only one that's in this chat, or will watch this later, that thinks the same way as me. You want to put him at 1 or 2 or 3, but there's just too many variables. There's too many question marks, so I don't really know what to think unless I see it once we get into the regular season. So I got Todd Gurley at number 6, but talent-wise, when he's healthy, you could say number 1, number 2, no question. Right? No question, especially with getting 19 combined in 2017 and 21 in 2018. You can't put a guy at 4 or 5 or 6 when healthy with numbers like that. Then that would be biased. So you obviously see my reasoning for that. There's a reason why he didn't go top 5 in any fantasy draft in America, at least the ones that I've heard. I haven't seen it. So maybe you guys have, but I haven't, unless you're a homer and you picked him, right? Hoping that he's going to be the Todd Gurley of 2018 and 17, which I hope. Because I love when players are healthy, but that's the bottom line because O-Dog said so, all right? Number 6, Todd Gurley, and then I had Melvin Gordon, I feel, is number 7. There's a few other guys that you could throw out there in that mark, but that's me personal. That's what I think, all right? So, Todd Gurley, number 6. It feels weird for me saying that, all right? But I got to say it. I just don't think that he's there. All right, so let's go to number 5. And then when I say this name, Todd Gurley fans and Rams fans are saying, bullshit, this guy isn't better than Todd Gurley, this or that, but this guy's healthy. This guy's got a dad that played on the Denver Broncos. This guy also has the ability to not only hit the holes, he's a great receiver, right? We haven't seen a prototypical white running back, right? This white chocolate, right? This special player, right, that plays running back who's Caucasian, who plays just as good as the black guys, the brothers, that play the position the best, that have ever played the position the best. It's an anomaly. It's weird, right? But it's a beautiful thing to see when you see something that you normally don't see. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about Run CMC Christian McCaffrey, all right? Rushing yards, 1,098, 7 TDs on the ground with a 5-yard average. That's what I like to see. Now, this stat right here is inflated because of one reasoning. Cam Newton was injured last season, so he couldn't throw downfield. So if you ended up seeing him, getting a little bit more screen passes than normal towards the end of the season, there was a reason. 107 receptions, 6 TDs, 867 yards. With 107, you should be over 1,000 yards. But a lot of those plays were little dinks and doinks, little screen passes, right? Just because Cam's arm and shoulder was fucked up, right? So they had to hide it the best that they could. They couldn't go deep to DJ Moore. They couldn't go to Curtis Samuel deep. He just didn't have it in his shoulder and arm. And obviously he had too much pride. He means too much to that organization for him to be like, I'm going to sit out the last 6 games. I mean, it wasn't going to happen, right? But even though I got him at 5, I still feel that there's room for him to get higher into like that 3 range. It just depends on the Panthers, Spider Burns, Gerald McCoy, right? The rest of the offense, which I know Moore and Samuel are going to dominate, right? Cam Newton's health, right? We just thought he was getting back to normal, and then he had the little ankle thing. You know what I mean? I still think that this team has more depth than the Buccaneers, my team. I think they have more depth than the Falcons. Big facts, right? The only team that you're going to have a hard time with is the New Orleans Saints in the NFC South. 3 Fs. And you already knew that going in. But if you guys get in as a wild card, that's all that matters. You're battling Seattle. You're battling Dallas. You're going to be battling the Packers, the Vikings, whoever the fuck the other team is. You're going to be battling them. But the thing is, there's a reason why Christian McCaffrey went 1, 2, or 3 in most PPR, right, drafts for fantasy or standard, is because of the ability of him to be able to run through the tackles, right, do draws, do tosses, do sweeps, but he is a great receiver. He almost reminds me of a wide receiver playing the running back position. He is so skilled there. He's almost like a prototypical dream come true for Bill Belichick. If anything ever happens to Christian McCaffrey and they don't lock him up long term, right, who do you think the first guy is going to be calling if Belichick is still around? Christian McCaffrey. Can you imagine him on that New England offense? I can't, and I don't want to. I want to have him make sure that he stays on the Carolina Panthers for his whole career. Big facts. I mean, he means too much to that organization. He means more to that organization to me than Cam Newton. He's on that same level, right, with Luke Kuechly, and then with Spider Burns coming in with a great shot to win Rookie of the Year on the defensive side. You might have the next Javon Curse, the next big freak, right, as far as not only the NFC South, but in the entire NFL. Could we be saying in a year from now that Brian Spider Burns is the next Von Miller? Right? The next Khalil Mack, that type of impact guy. I think it's very possible. All right. So I got Christian McCaffrey at number 5 with a lot of upside to get into that top 3. He even can get to that point where he can get in the top 2. He may never be number 1 overall ever, but I think with his determination, his skill set, the coaching that they have there, the weapons that they have, he's going to be a dual threat, and he's one of the best damn dual threats, period. And the only reason that I have him at this position is, like I said, with Todd Gurley being there at 6 with the knee. So, I mean, I would have to slide a few guys in and out. I feel that he's better than Melvin Gordon already at this point in his career, hands down. And you could argue that he's right up there with number 4, number 3, number 2, and number 1. There's not a whole lot separating my top 5. I mean, in all reality, if I could have any of these guys, top 5, top 6, top 7 guys on my team, I mean, that would at least make me some, a little bit happier and give me a little joy with having a shithole Jameis Winston as my quarterback. At least I'd have a good running back, to give me some touchdowns, during the regular season. But Christian McCaffrey, one of the most, I feel, slept on guys as he came into the draft. I watched him play pretty much every game at Stanford when they played Oregon, when they played the other Pac-12 teams. Let's get on notice now. I mean, I think we're starting to get people on notice about Spider Burns. You already know how good Luke Kuechly is. Let's start recognizing that Run CMC, he may not be the best linebacker or top 2 like Luke Kuechly and Bobby Wagner, but he's getting there. And don't be surprised if he keeps trending upwards. I really like his game. He's going to get better. His dad is Ed McCaffrey. If you don't know him, look him up. And obviously, McCaffrey, Christian, Run CMC, is even better than his dad. Good genes, and that's big facts. Number 5, Christian McCaffrey, all right? Number 4, This is where it gets tough because I could have put Christian McCaffrey at 4. But the one reasoning that I have this player ahead of him, just for the sole reason, is that prior to last season sitting out the whole year, right, he was considered the best running back in football, either number 1 or number 2 with Todd Gurley. Big facts. The most patient running back in the NFL. So if you don't know who I'm already talking about right then, with me saying the word patience, then you need to do your homework because most NFL sport fanatics already know exactly who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Le'Veon Bell. All right, so Le'Veon Bell, I have him there a year off. So is he going to be rusty at first? Possibly, right? I feel Le'Veon Bell doesn't have as good of an O-line or offense around him there with the Jets. The defense is going to be good with Jamal Adams and C.J. Mosley, Quinnen Williams. They don't have as many weapons at wide receiver, so that's going to give him more opportunities. And for me, if you're an elite running back, you're going to be able to play anywhere and dominate. If you have an elite O-line like the Cowboys, you're going to take advantage and your stat line is going to skyrocket. It's obviously going to be trending upwards. But to me, I think Le'Veon Bell legitimately has a shot to win the rushing title this season. I know it sounds crazy. I think the Jets and the Bills and the Browns legitimately have a shot. One of those teams, or maybe multiple, could get in as a wild card. I mean, the Browns might even overachieve and win the division. I personally think the Steelers are going to win the AFC North, and I think the Browns can get a wild card. Will they overachieve and just leapfrog everybody, right, and win the AFC North? First season with Odell and with the transition with Kitchens, it's possible. But for me in football, I like to crawl before you walk. Let's not count our eggs before they're hatched yet. Let's just see what Baker can do. I think that Baker's going to have an MVP kind of year. I think Myles Garrett will be a top 5 defensive player of the year MVP candidate when it's all said and done. He's going to take his game to the next level, right? Denzel Ward is a beast. Greedy Williams, sleeper from LSU. I mean, they got weapons. And I don't give a shit about Odell if he gets injured halfway through or Landry. Njoku's stats are going to go down, but you got Baker, you got Chubb. They're going to break out. They're going to have one of the better offenses in the league. And I think once we get into the first 5 weeks, 6 weeks, you're going to recognize that the defense is actually better than anticipated at this early stage of this rebuild. And don't be shocked. I mean, they were paper champions, and they look good on paper, but they're not going to win. We'll see. Like I said, if I had to put money on it, on who's going to be able to make the playoffs with a wild card, out of any of the teams in the AFC, Colts or Houston, I mean, they're going to be battling it out. Chargers with no Melvin Gordon and no Derwin James. Chiefs are winning there. You already know that. New England's automatically winning, right? So if you had to choose one team, it could be the Cleveland Browns. I really believe that. But Le'Veon Bell is one of those guys that I feel it doesn't matter what line that you have. 1 year to rest your body. He knows how to play. He's going to be able to dominate. I feel he's got a great chance to not only have a good, good yak yards. He's going to have a good average per carry. But like I said, I think with the new jerseys, the new swag, the new feel, the Jets needed it. They needed that resurgence in their blood with those new unis, right? What did Dion say? Prime time, prime time. You look good, you feel good, you play good. And that's big facts. You guys know that if you guys played high school ball, college ball, semi-pro, if once you end up having that feeling that you just are swaggy and no one can touch you, you play better. And with those jerseys, I know a lot of people, those are Saskatchewan CFL jerseys. Those are high school jerseys. Those are North Texas. I love them. I think they're some of the best jerseys in the NFL already. They got the all blacks, the new helmet color. I love it. And don't be surprised if they overachieve. Darnold takes it to the next level. It still may take a year or two for obviously Josh Allen on the Bills and Darnold to get their teams to the playoffs, but they're coming. They're getting there. But I really love Le'Veon Bell. Like I said, he doesn't have any significant injuries. He held out for the money. I wish he played last year. So some people are saying, does he still have it? Of course he still has it, all right? He's the top 4 in my book right now. I could have put him higher. You didn't play last year. I think he's ready. And then once he runs for his first 125-yard game within the first couple games, everyone will know Le'Veon Bell is back. He is legit. And one of my leagues, I have him, right? I had the 4th pick, and I almost was, I could have went him or D-Hop, you know what I mean? But I truly do believe in Le'Veon Bell, the new swag. He has something to prove. It's not about just getting the money and getting the bag and then being content. He wants to get back to the point, especially with Gurley and the knee issues. He wants to say, hey, you know what? I know that there's other running backs out there, but he wants to claim that title. And in his brain, I'm the best running back in the league. Zeke says he is, but Le'Veon Bell believes truly that he is the best, and he has less to work with on the line. So if he wins the rushing title, what can you really say? He did it with less, and it's his skill set that put him up into that upper echelon. And like I said, with Le'Veon Bell and Gurley, normally when they're healthy, that's like top 2, top 3. You could throw Zeke in that mix as well. With some of these new running backs, you have to kind of, decide where you want to put the player. There's nothing wrong with being top 7 running back in the league. If we forget, there's 32 fucking teams in the NFL, right? Most teams don't have a fucking running back. That's good. You're looking at one. I got 2 shitty ones, Peyton Barber, Ronald Jones. What I would do just to have one fucking running back like Mike Allstott, right? Or Warwick Dunn. Somebody. Right? But I don't. And I probably never will because my team sucks. All right? That's big facts. Le'Veon Bell, 1,291 yards in 2017. Yeah, I know. It was 2 years ago. 9 TDs on the ground. Right? He had a 4-yard average carry per carry, 4 yards. 85 receptions, 655 yards, 2 TDs. And I have a good feeling about it that he's going to end up getting more than 655 yards. Look for him to get closer, I'm thinking, to that 90 reception range, and then he should be able to get more than 2 TDs, a minimum of 4. I got to see how they're going to be able to use him in that offense, but they don't got any weapons. Who the fuck do they got out there at wide receiver? Quincy Enunwa? What the fuck are you going to do with that? Who are the tight ends that are going to dominate out there? Right? Who do they got? And they got, what, Montgomery as his backup? I mean, what are you really going to get out of that offense? Darnold, right? And then Le'Veon are going to have to literally carry the whole offense, period. But I love Le'Veon Bell's upside. Like I said, he could end up being the number 1 running back when the season's done. Would I be shocked? Not really. You know what I mean? I know there's guys that I feel that are projected for higher. There's reasons why certain guys in fantasy went 1, 2, 3, and you know who I'm talking about in almost every league. But I do like Le'Veon Bell slightly over Christian McCaffrey. Not by much, but slightly right now. I mean, Christian McCaffrey still could blow up, have 1,000, 1,100, do something like Roger Craig or Marshall Faulk, and then everyone will shut the fuck up, right, and be like, okay, let's finally give Christian McCaffrey, run CMC his due. But until that happens, for the time being, I got to put Gurley at 6. I got to put Le'Veon Bell at 4 for those reasons when I had him 1, 2 for many, many years prior to the last few years. All right? Number 4, Le'Veon Bell. All right, now this is where it gets tricky. All right, so 3, 2, 1, you could literally go any one of these 3 players. I mean, you really could. Any of these players could end up getting 1,000. Any of these players could get 1,100. I know 1,000 is kind of the number because obviously you're going to get more than 1,000 with the rushing. Some of these guys, will end up probably getting 12, 13, 14, 15. Imagine getting 1,500 yards rushing and 1,000 or 1,100 receiving. I mean, that puts you in a whole nother category. That Marshall Faulk status, that Roger Craig status. I mean, it's for me and a stat guy, and I know you guys are stat guys too. That puts you in the upper echelon to be able to do something like that. You got to have a good O-line. You got to have a good OC. You got to have a good quarterback to feed you the rock when you're hot, just like Steph Curry when he's playing basketball, right? Or Klay Thompson when they're hot, when he doesn't have the ACL. You keep feeding your guy that's hot, right? Dame Lillard here for me in Portland. You feed him. Dame time. Dame dollar, right? Number 3 is my favorite running back in the league. I don't have bias, so I'm not going to put him number 1, even though he's my favorite. So that should give me credibility right out the gates. This guy is an amazing player, and he's not splitting time anymore with Mark Ingram. So you already know who I'm talking about. I want to put him higher. I really do. Right? But I feel that putting him even over Le'Veon Bell and McCaffrey and Gurley and Melvin Gordon is saying something for this player. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He didn't get picked in the first round. He didn't get picked in the second round. Right? When he went to college, Jalen Hurd on the Niners, the wide receiver, started at running back ahead of him. Then went to Baylor and made himself into a wide receiver. It shows you the depth that they had on that collegiate team with Tennessee. Alvin Kamara, AK-41, we gave him the nickname, the Alien, AK-41, because he's out of this world, all right? People start to have other names that they want to use for him. Come on, man. We already know. It's AK-41. It's the Alien. Splitting time with Mark Ingram showed, even though he has an addiction to candy and Skittles, which we know, if you guys follow Alvin Kamara, he needs to put the candy down and really start focusing. 883 yards, right? But out of that yardage, see, I'm sweating over here, just getting in the stat line. 14 TDs out of 883 yards. Just think about that for a second. 883 yards, not even 1,000, right? 14 TDs. 4.6 average. That's fucking crazy. And you're splitting time. There's guys that are full-time fucking backs that can't even get to 14, that can't even get to that number, even combined 14, rushing and receiving. 81 receptions, 709 yards, 4 TDs, a combined 18 last year. Let me say that again. 18 combined, and you split time with fucking Mark Ingram. That shows you that he has potential to be the best running back in the league. He's, you got to be able to show that you can be a 3-down back, first down, second down, third down. And we need to see it for about 3 or 4 years straight. Regardless of how long Drew Brees goes, regardless if you guys go to the Super Bowl and win this year, or if you guys don't and get there the following year, we need to be able to see you can be the bell cow. Do I think he can be the bell cow? Of course he can be the bell cow. And if anyone can get to that 1,000, I know Christian McCaffrey, is going to have a great shot. Le'Veon is going to have a great shot. Melvin Gordon. But I feel with the top 3, they have the legitimate best shot to get there. And he's going to be the bell cow. And don't be surprised if they make the NFC Championship game, if they play the Rams, right? If they play the Eagles. I'm not sure if anyone's really going to be able to beat Sean Payton and Drew Brees, as long as Drew Brees can keep up and not get to the point where, when they played the Cowboys and then he started throwing all the picks and wasn't as accurate. They're going to have to kind of mix up the playbook. Michael Thomas is need to take his game to the next level. Jared Cook, the defense, right? But if they have that collective unit, this is the hungriest team in the NFL, period. Minneapolis Miracle, enough said, right? Bullshit pass interference call, NFC Championship, enough said. Sometimes you got to lose before you win. Right? Some teams win right out the gate, but a lot of them don't. You got to feel that pain in your heart, right, for what it's like to lose and lose in a shitty way. Last second Minneapolis Miracle? Are you kidding me? Do you even know what it feels like to be a Saints fan? A lot of y'all don't. Even though I'm not a Saints fan, that shit made my fucking heart hurt when I saw that. And then to have the pass interference call that wasn't called, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And even though I'm a Bucs fan, I root for the NFC South because I want that division to show that when we go to the Super Bowl, we have a great chance to get there and win. Yeah, the Falcons didn't win. They got there with Kyle Shanahan, but they should have, right? The Panthers, when they played Vaughn, anybody but Vaughn, or the Patriots, they probably would have won. Saints got there and won. Bucks got there and won. But it makes me proud, even if those teams don't win, to show you, hey, the NFC South used to be the laughingstock, right, of the NFC. Not any fucking more, right? Just imagine if the Bucks can get average or above average. It's not going to be a conference that you're going to want to play in the NFC South, period. Alvin Kamara, AK-41, number 3, my favorite running back in the NFL. And if you can't see correctly, this is a Derrick Brooks Buccaneer jersey. I'm not supposed to say AK. Now, this is where it really gets tough, and some will agree, some will disagree, okay? I feel that this running back has the greatest shot to win Offensive Player of the Year. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to win the MVP again, back-to-back, just like Drake, back-to-back, right? But this player could be the Offensive Player of the Year. I really feel that with the lack of weapons at wide receiver, either due to suspension, Golden Tate, thumbs being broken, Shepard, and a few other pieces. You got Ingram, who's nice, right? I need to see Daniel Jones get the fuck in there now, right? I need to see this combo of Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, a.k.a. Saquads Barkley, all right? He's the guy that's going to, I believe, probably more than likely have the best numbers when the season is said and done. He might have the most touchdowns, wouldn't surprise me. His average per carry should be the highest, and there's a great chance that he's going to have the most receptions and possibly the most yards when it's all said and done this season. Saquon Barkley was very, very close for me to be number 1. Do I think he's going to be number 1 at the end of the year? More than likely, yeah, right? But also, too, it's about longevity. How long have you been doing it for? I mean, at some point, I honestly feel after this season, moving forward, Saquon Barkley is going to be the best running back in the NFL, and he's going to be for a while. There's going to be guys that will rotate positions through 2, 3, 4, and 5, but I honestly feel he's got the Barry Sanders in him, and this is the closest thing that we're going to see to Barry Sanders probably ever again for a long, long time, once-in-a-generation type of player. The line is above average, but imagine if you had the Cowboys line, the Steelers line, Saquon would be able to run wild, all right? 1,307 yards, 11 TDs in his rookie season. I would say that's pretty fucking good. 5 yards per carry, exactly where you want to be. 91 receptions, 721 yards, 4 TDs, 15 combined. Saquon Barkley moving forward after this season. There's a reason why, right? He went number 1 in a lot of drafts. I'll let you know right now. In one of the leagues that I had, the $1,200 money league, I'm going to read off my team to you. And when I started picking, right, this team, some people in the chat, right, started talking shit because I picked Patrick Mahomes higher than most people. In this draft league, right, they had 4 bench spots, right? Not a typical 7 or 8. No room to pick up a backup quarterback. No room to pick up a backup kicker. No room to even get a fucking backup defense. We're talking 4 bench spots. So most of those are going to be 2 running backs or 2 wide receivers, depending on what you do. I ended up drafting in this $1,200 money league, right? I got the first pick, right, with my friend, right? And then you go back-to-back picks in the second round, fourth round, from then on. So I had the choice to get the first pick, and then I went back-to-back, 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 all the way until it was over. And this is what I did. So when I ended up having the draft, let me pull it up here for you so you can see what a good fantasy football draft is. The very first pick in the 2019 fantasy football draft, if you had the first pick and you didn't pick this player, you're losing your league, Saquon Barkley. And then what did I go next? They're at 24 and 25. Aaron Jones and Patrick Mahomes. They laughed. They giggled. They say, stay off the meds, you idiot. Why did you pick Mahomes so high? 25? Are you stupid? But if you only have 4 bench spots, you have more room to gamble to be able to build a squad. Who was the last one laughing after I went through this draft? Let's go over this team real quick and compare it to your fantasy team. Saquon Barkley at 1. Aaron Jones, who? Aaron Jones at 24, number 2. Patrick Mahomes, 3. Tyler Boyd, Bengals, right? 4. O.J. Howard, 5. Darius Geis, Redskins sleeper at my flex, 6. D.D. Westbrook, Nick Foles, number 1 target, 7. Michael Gallup, Cowboys, up-and-coming wide receiver, 8. Number 1 defense, Chicago Bears, 9. Peyton Barber was sitting there, just no one wanted him, so I'm going to take a starting running back in the 10th round. Sure, I'll take that. Number 1 kicker in the league, not named Greg the Leg because he gets injured, Justin Tucker from the Baltimore Ravens flock. TJ Hawkinson, sleeper, even though he's behind Jesse James, he might be able to do something. And Adrian Peterson to give myself a little depth if Geis gets hurt. That's how you build a fucking team. That got an A grade, the best one. I'm projected to go 12-1. If this wins, $1,200, period. So it shows you, just because certain people think that you shouldn't pick Patrick Mahomes, if Patrick Mahomes is going to have a season like I think he's going to end up going to the AFC Championship game. I don't give a fuck if it's the Patriots or not. They're going to win. They're going to go to the Super Bowl. I don't know if they're going to win it this year, but they're going. It'll be tough, right? They need to get home field. If they go and play at New England, it'll be extra hard. But I really feel that the Chiefs have it, and there's a reason why I picked them that high with only 4 bench spots, because I knew that these other guys were going to be going Russell Wilson, Roethlisberger, and they were going to go deep. But you can't go that deep in a 12-man league once quarterbacks still going off the board. You know what I mean? You could end up with a Jared Goff, maybe, but maybe it doesn't work out. But I like to see your guys' teams and see if you can compare to that. Saquon Barkley, Aaron Jones, Patrick Mahomes, and your first 3 picks. I'm going to win. I'm winning this fucking league. Tyler Boyd, O.J. Howard, Geis, I'm winning this shit. Number 1 D, Chicago. Number 1 kicker, Tucker. If I don't win this, it's going to be due to injury and injury alone. And that's big facts. So, I mean, it just depends, and you got to manage your team, and I don't have any more than 2 guys that are going to have the bye week in the same week, so I know I'm going to be able to just use those 2 bench spots, keep Peyton Barber and Michael Gallup all year, and just rotate those last 2, AP, right, and Hawkinson, and find a way to replace a kicker, replace a defense, do what I need to do. It's looking good, but that's how you fucking draft. You know what I mean? You take chances, and you know the metrics, and you do some research. That's how you do it. Saquon Barkley, number 2, but after this season, you better believe it, there's only one running back, in my opinion, besides Kamara, AK-41, that's going to challenge Saquon Barkley year in and year out. And it's a guy that ended up being, in my book, right now, today, I'm not a hater, right? I'm not a Cowboys fan. The number 1 running back right now, today, even though he hasn't, suited up until today, he got his money today. We're talking about Zeke. Yum, 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 yum. Ezekiel Elliott. Number 1 running back, period, right now. Some people think it's AK-41. I mean, he's right there. Some people think it's Saquon. He's right there. Run CMC, Gurley, Le'Veon, right? They're all there. The only one you can't really say is number one is probably Melvin Gordon. But like I said, he's still an amazing running back. I hope he gets on a team somewhere, all right? But the reason that I'll say the stat line and then I'll go over the other stats, this is why I have him number one, okay? So his stat line from last year isn't the sexiest. There's other guys that ended up having more, all right? Last year's stats, 1,434 yards. That's pretty solid. Only 6 TDs. I would like to see a little bit more. You got to get yourself into that double-digit range if you really want to be considered number one moving forward, and that's why I think Saquon's going to surpass him, because he's going to be able to get more yards, more touchdowns, an average per carry higher, and he's probably going to be able to compete with them in receptions and more yards and more touchdowns moving forward. But with that being said, 1,434 yards, 6 TDs on the ground, 4.7. Yeah, I know he's got the best O-line in the league, but let's be real. At the Ohio State University, if you remember, there's a guy named MT13, Michael Thomas. He's pretty fucking good too. He's considered, in my book, top 2 wide receiver, and then you got arguably the best running back, even though Joey Bosa gets injured. Ohio State builds football talent, period. Sometimes they get hurt. That is big facts, but it's usually on the defensive side of the ball, right? But I love players from the Ohio State University. 95 receptions, 567 yards. I need to see that go up. All right, Zeke, if you want to be number one moving forward, only 3 TDs receiving, so only 9. So you said, come on, Orion, only 9 total. How are you going to have him over Saquon or Kamara or Le'Veon or Christian McCaffrey or Gurley? And this is why, right? Men lie, women lie, stats don't lie. Since Zeke came into the league in 2016, he leads the NFL in these categories. Are you guys paying attention? Right? Write these down or think about it for a second. Leads the NFL since entering his rookie season. Rushing yards, number 1, 4,048. Carries, number 1, 868. 100-yard games, 19, number 1. Do you guys see a trend? 20-plus carry games, 28, number 1. Total touches, 1,003, number 1. Runs of 20-plus yards, and this is a big one, 30 times since 2016. Let's take a guess on what that stat is. Number 1. So yeah, his stat line from last year maybe wasn't as high as some of the others, but if you look at everything, the total package, he is the best running back in the NFL right now. And you can't tell me if you were the Buccaneers, the Seahawks, the Eagles, no matter what, if you could replace your star running back with Zeke or just a guy that you have in there, you would do it. He does have some knucklehead things that he does off the field that I don't like, right? But as far as production on the field, the way he cuts, the way he moves his body, the only person that I feel that is on that same level is Saquon Barkley. As far as cutting, vision, being able to keep his balance, stiff arm, power, speed, agility, footwork, eyes, everything. I mean, the total package, and there's a reason why some people think that they can make not only the playoffs, maybe a wild card, maybe even win the division over the Eagles. I doubt it. I think the Eagles got more depth at 11-5, maybe Cowboys 10-6, and Zeke got in the building. We'll have to see how they use Pollard as well if they sprinkle him in. But all of those stats say something to me. And if you watch the tape, I did a reaction video earlier today. You can see it. He's special. He deserves that money. But now with him doing that, it's going to open the door. Maybe not. I don't think McCaffrey would do it. I think he might have a little bit too much class for that. But, and that might open the door for other running backs to get paid. And then one of the, viewers said, that's kind of a punk thing to do. You're sitting out. You know what I mean? It's going to make other people do that. That's bad for the NFL. But also to think about this. If you're the best at what you do, right? Or you have passion for what you do, like, let's say for me, example, on YouTube and what I'm doing for you guys, you don't want to sell yourself short. You want to make sure you get your money's worth on what you feel that you're worth, right? If Zeke feels like he's the best running back in the league, and I think he is, right, at this point with Saquon is about to leapfrog him after this season, but he'll still be in my top 2, top 3, moving forward. I'm not sure if he's ever going to go beyond top 3 for the rest of his career unless he gets hurt, and that's big facts. The O-line has something to do with it, but it's not like Dak Prescott's Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson, and it's helping him out. I mean, they have a good collective unit, right? But let's look to really see what they have. The O-line definitely helps, and Le'Veon Bell took advantage of that in Pittsburgh. But I really honestly feel you could put Zeke on the Bengals, and he still would become a Pro Bowl player. in my opinion. Some of you guys might not believe that, but I believe he's that good that he benefits from a great O-line, but he could still do it on his own. And that's big facts. So let's go down the list again. Melvin Gordon at 7. Todd Gurley because of the knee, 6. Christian McCaffrey at a very, very tough 5. Le'Veon Bell, just for the fact that you're on a new team, your body is supposedly injury-free, you had a whole year to rest. I need to see you bring it. Otherwise, McCaffrey is going to surpass you, Le'Veon, and you're going to be sitting with Gurley back on the back end. AK-41, Alvin Kamara, 3, and that was tough for me. Number 2, Saquon, but in some people's books, he's going to be number 1, but I got to see it more than just 1 year in a row. But I really feel Saquon is like once-in-a-generation type of talent like Zeke. They're very special. Saquon's not going to get in trouble off the field, but I really feel that we're going to see stat lines that we might have not seen since Barry Sanders, and you're going to get that with Saquon, especially once Daniel Jones starts getting up there and getting his playing time in those reps, and that's big facts. So that's what I have to say today. I'm sweating over here. Obviously, as you can tell, I'm going to give you guys the good show. Now I got to go up and scroll to see what you guys have to say. Why did you leave out Mixon but put Gordon in? Because Mixon is too injury prone. As I go to the top. So Cameron, I do like Mixon a lot. He's like a baby AP. He's very deadly. But the one thing that the Bengals players all have in common with him and AJ Green and Eifert, what is it? They always fucking get hurt. They can't stay healthy for a full season. Melvin Gordon is going to be able to stay healthy for a full season, right? So, I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, if you stay healthy, you're on the field. If you're on the bench, you're not an asset to your team, right? So Mixon might have the talent, but in all reality, no one thinks Mixon's better than Melvin Gordon. And if you really do, you might have to evaluate maybe your draft in fantasy because there's no way in hell. No one in this world thinks that Joe Mixon is better than Melvin Gordon. At least I've never met anyone that's told me that before. So Melvin Gordon, even though he had 0 touchdowns coming out of Wisconsin, out of running back University there, Ron Dayton, all the others that have come out there, right? And he started slow. I think 12, and 14 combined. I mean, that says to me something. He's a little bit better than just like so-so. You know what I mean? I would take him on the Bucs in a heartbeat. I would trade a couple first-rounders for him. A lot better than Peyton Barber or Ronald Jones. I'm just saying, I'd rather have Melvin Gordon than Joe Mixon because Joe Mixon can't stay healthy. If he stays healthy for a full season, then you could start putting him in that 6, 7, 8, 9 category. And there's a reason why I didn't put David fucking Johnson in this list, right? Do you guys believe in David Johnson and that Bootio's O-line and that shitty defense? Fuck no, you don't. There's a reason why you didn't pick him in fantasy, and if you did, you probably fucking lost your fantasy league already, right? Because how are you gonna win with him? If he's your number 1 running back and they have one of the shittiest O-lines, how is he going to get yards? This isn't David Johnson from 2016. We're in 2019. This is not Back to the Future with Michael J. Fox, okay? So I don't think that he's ever going to recover. He was a system guy. I hope he does, but I doubt it. I mean, that's just me just being honest. So let me scroll up here. You guys commented so fucking much, I can't even scroll back to the top of the fucking comments. It doesn't even let me. So I'm going to have to just scroll down a little bit, and we'll go through here. We got Panthers fans saying run CMC top 3. You could argue that. I mean, like I said, being a top 5 running back, there's no shaming in that. You know what I mean? So let's keep going here. I'll start with you and I'll scroll down. So Gurley is a monster, but he's been doing it for a while now. Running backs get wore down quick in the NFL, especially ones that run for contact like he does. Absolutely. And you know what I mean? It's sad because, like I said, for the last couple years, you can't say anything. Even if Le'Veon played last year, you can't say unless he had some better monster year, more than 21 combined, which I doubt that Le'Veon would have had 21 combined, even if he played for Pittsburgh last season. All right, but it's always been pretty much in my book, the last couple years up to coming up into this year, it's been Todd Gurley 1, Le'Veon 2, prior to last season when he sat out, and Zeke 3. That's how it's been for a while. But now the new blood has come in, and you're starting to see that, hey, maybe these guys aren't going anywhere. Maybe Run CMC ain't going anywhere. AK-41, Kamara ain't going nowhere. And Saquon, he might win Offensive Player of the Year, right? MVP. It's possible, I think the MVP is going to be Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? That's. I really feel that he's going to go back to back. But Offensive Player of the Year, I definitely think Saquon is at the top of the list. I think he can have a monster year, especially with lack of weapons. And once Daniel Jones gets in, I hope by week 6, then we get to see 10 full weeks of what he can really do with Saquon. And they might be able to win a few more games. But in all reality, you want to lose a lot so you can get a guy like Jerry Jeudy from Alabama and have Jeudy, Saquon, and Daniel Jones. Then you'll have a trifecta and a lot of bandwagon people, and you'll be building the whole Odell Beckham scenario all over again. You'll have your Odell Beckham and Jerry Jeudy if you can get them. You know what I mean? You already got Saquon. You already have Daniel Jones. You're just rebuilding now in the defense. And that's big facts. But, I know there's a lot of, fans of your guy. I get it. But I'm looking at it from an outsider's view, looking in with no bias, no ties to any team, just stats, tape, what I see. But there's always room for these guys to go up and down. But for a majority of the top 6, Todd Gurley, McCaffrey, Le'Veon, Kamara, Saquon, and Zeke, to me, they're all elite. They all do certain things great. But it's just going to be a little separation between the top and then the guys that are in the top 3 and then the bottom 3 of 4, 5, and 6 and 1, 2, and 3. And in all reality, the only difference typically is injuries. You know what I mean? Because if Zeke gets hurt, right, and gets tears an Achilles or ACL or has knee issues, you think Zeke is going to be considered in the top, 3 after that? No. Just like any other person. So that's just my personal opinion, though. Not everyone's going to believe what I have to say, but, everyone has an opinion. It's like Mr. Cole was good, Orion. I like that red jersey. Tampa Bay Bucks. Too bad it doesn't say Chiefs on it. I know, man. Maybe I'll get a Patrick Mahomes and just stash it in my closet before it becomes a Mitchell and Ness throwback, so that way I can save it because I know it's going to be a very special jersey for you guys this season. I still haven't been able to get my schedule just yet, but like I mentioned to all y'all earlier, if you guys caught it, I am going to sacrifice every single one of my Bucks games this season live, unless it's on like Thursday night football and it just so happens that that's the only game on. But I'm going to try to do as many Chiefs, Eagles, Saints, Panthers, whatever I need to do, I'm going to do as many as I can. My goal is to do probably 3 on Sunday. I don't know if I can sit in the chair for 9 hours straight, but you guys give me the motivation to try to do it. And then do Monday night. Obviously, Sunday night's going to be that 3rd game. I don't know if I'll have a voice, but you know what? I got some honeys, right? I got some honeys, and then I got some extra strength. So, you know what I mean? My voice goes away. I'll be good. I got some Ricola, so I'll be good. I'll make it happen. So I'm going to do it, though. But like I said, it's a grind. We're going in tomorrow. Like I said, I think Marcus is going to come through. I don't know if he's going to stay for the whole game. I am going to be here live for the whole game. Bears, Packers, Mr. Cole, thank you for the donation. I love you. Appreciate you. But like I said, I give it my all every time I do a stream, every time I do a live stream for a game or I do original content. I make sure it's fun. It's going to be exciting. You may not agree with everything that I have to say, but you can respect what I have to say, and I give you the facts. I don't just throw it out of my ass, and it's not like, I'm a Cowboy fan and Zeke's number 1. That doesn't really have any validity to it. You can't really be like, oh yeah, he's a Cowboys fan. Of course he's going to say Zeke, because he's a Cowboy fan. Of course not. But me being a Bucks fan, a team of bottom feeder, you can kind of respect more of the words that are coming out. But that's pretty much it. If you guys have any fantasy questions, because you guys have gone down all of this list. There's probably like hundreds and hundreds that I'm going to have to go back after this is over. So I'm going to open it up right now. And if you guys have any fantasy football starters, benches, who should I start? Running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks. Mark it down below. I'm probably going to stay online for another maybe about 5 to 10 minutes, and I want to use this last 5 to 10 minutes either to talk about any comments you guys have to have on the running backs that we went over in the list, or if you guys need fantasy help, not only for tomorrow, but going into this weekend. I'm going to do a show on Friday specifically just for Fanatic Fantasy Football Friday. Every Friday, I'm going to be able to help everyone get their lineups right. Just because if you want to win your league, like in the one that I'm in with $1,200 on the line for first place and a few others with the Northwest Sports Fanatics YouTube League, you got to make sure your lineup is right. So if you guys have anything, let me know. All right, so what do you think about Coleman as a starter for fantasy? With Coleman in fantasy, it's one of those things, he's going to be the starter, but I really don't know, what you're going to get production-wise out of him. You got Breida. You have a few others that are going to be able to take carries away. McKinnon is going to be out for the year again. Unfortunate. Breida is the one that I would probably play. But I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you got more of like a third down back type of player starting, so you're going to have to kind of see where that goes. I would use him maybe as a flex position. I wouldn't be comfortable using him as a RB1 or an RB2, but maybe as a flex. If you want to use a Coleman, you could do that. I personally have in that money league, I have Geis, and I picked him a little higher. They had him sliding down to like 9th, 10th round. But to me, I saw a gem. I knew that he was going to start over AP. You know what I mean? And if I already have Saquon, right, Aaron Jones, which is projected to have the best combo for points and running back in that league for me, and I have Patrick Mahomes, you know what I mean? All I need to do is have these guys stay healthy and dominate, and they'll be fine. And then Coleman would be a guy that I could put in as a flex as a Geis, but it really just depends on health. That's the 49ers issue, is health. I got a lot of friends that are 49ers fan. Shit, I was a 49er fan growing up. If I wasn't a Buccaneer fan, more than likely I would be a 49er fan. I'm a Joe Montana guy, a Jerry Rice guy, so I follow him very closely. But, you know, it is what it is. So we have to see. But Bears, Packers tomorrow, it's going to be exciting. So here we go. Now we finally got you. Lamar or Jimmy week 1? Chris Guzman, that's a great question. Now I want you to comment below. Who are they playing? Which I should already know this off the top of my head, but I've been researching so much with all the different videos and websites. Who are they playing against, and are they home or on the road? Because those are key factors when you have fantasy. Jimmy G is playing the Tampa Bay Bucks on the road, so I already know that. I should know that, right? I have them beating the Buccaneers on the road, so I think Jimmy G will actually play pretty well. The defense and the secondary is horrendous for the Buccaneers, so there's points there. He did look a little shaky early on in preseason, but he settled down. And then who do the Ravens play in week 1? Comment below, and if it's at home or on the road. And I'll be able to answer your question. But, I mean, Lamar gives you that dual threat where you can use his legs, but he's nowhere near. He's Dolphins on the road, I believe. All right. Is it for sure, though? Because I don't want to give any misinformation, so now I'm going to have to look it up. Let me look at the schedule. Let's go to the NFL, because we can't just be like, you know, on a whim guessing where we're at. All right, so I'm looking. 49ers are at the Buccaneers, 125. They're going to beat the Buccaneers, my team, on the road week 1. Yeah, I said it. And the Ravens are on the road against a crappy Dolphins team, right? But they're kind of sleeperish, right? If Fitzmagic can get a little magic, you just don't really know. That's tough. The Ravens are going to win the game. The Niners are going to win the game. It just depends on if Lamar Jackson can get enough weapons open and then use his legs for the extra yardage for points, because that's the only way you're going to beat Jimmy G in points, I believe, right, is you're going to have to be able to run for, I don't know, 60 yards maybe, 40 to 60 yards. I'm not sure if that's in the game plan, right? But if I had to take a quarterback, I think I'm taking Jimmy G. I mean, I know he looked a little shaky, but the Bucs secondary isn't that great, right? And if the O-line and they have a good offensive plan with all their weapons, with Kittle, Jalen Hurd, Deebo Samuel, Goodwin, you know, Pettis, I mean, they got weapons. So if I had to choose one player that I had money on and it meant something, I'm going Jimmy G against the Bucs. Can Lamar Jackson outplay him or get more points? It's possible. But even if that happens, I don't think that Lamar Jackson's going to beat him by like 10 points or more fantasy-wise. I think it'll be pretty close, but I still would go Jimmy G. He's got more upside because he might just rip into the Bucs for like 3-4 touchdown passes. I could see that. They're going to pound the rock a lot too. But I definitely like Jimmy G more. Even though he looked a little rusty in the beginning, he'll settle down. The Buccaneers can't win at home. The secondary is one of the worst in the NFL, right? So even though the Dolphins are bad too, right, I kind of trust more of a pure quarterback than kind of a gimmicky quarterback. You know, he's like a Michael Vick-ish Lamar Jackson, but he doesn't have his accuracy like Michael Vick. You know, he doesn't really have that just yet in his game. So, I mean, if I'm putting money on it, that's where I'm going. So... Sad Panthers fan says he's going to bed. All right. Sammy Watkins, a hidden gem in fantasy. He could be. The only problem with Sammy Watkins, Mr. Cole, if you have him in fantasy as like a flex or a backup wide receiver, you wouldn't want him as a wide receiver 1 or 2, is because you have so many targets going everywhere else, right? You got Tyreek the Free Kill, right? You got Shady and Damian Williams. right? They're going to get screen passes, and they're going to get a lot of opportunities. You got Kelsey, the best tight end in football. You got McCall Hardman. I mean, how far down the list is Sammy Watkins? I mean, he's only in front of maybe DeAnthony Thomas, and that's it. So, I mean, if you're fifth option, he's still going to get some touchdowns because Mahomes is going to dominate. He'll probably end up with 5 to 9, 5 to 8 this season, probably around 600 to 800 yards. But starting him in fantasy, you know what I mean? You might only want to do it as like if you're one of your wide receivers had a bye and you just had to. But it's not like one of those guys that you're probably going to want to have money on to dominate every week because it's going to be spread around all over. You guys have so many weapons, and that's a good thing. But as far as fantasy is concerned, it's going to be a tough thing to judge, going in and out of the lineups. All right, so Packers over Bears. I don't think that's going to happen. I got Bears winning at home, with that defense. You know what I mean? I think Trubisky is going to show that he's better. And the main reason I have them winning is because I obviously feel Montgomery, right, the rookie running back, is going to dominate. You got him, right, at home to show off in his first game. Tariq Cohen, the human joystick. Mike Davis, formerly of the Seahawks, on goal line. You know what I mean? I think that their offense will do enough. Rodgers can be Rodgers, but this defense with Khalil Mack, they got the best defense player for player. Will they get a few touchdowns on them? It's possible. But if I had to choose a team, I got Bears at home. You know what I mean? That's my personal feeling. I think they're going to be a better team. They could make an NFC championship game this year. I have them winning more than likely the NFC North. Some people think the Packers and the Vikings can get there and win or get a wild card, but I mean, it's not like I don't like the Packers, but I just don't think I'm kind of worried about their defense. I don't really know what they're going to do. I mean, obviously you got the Packers offense, which is elite. It's strong, right? And then the Bears defense that counteracts, right? And then you end up having the Bears offense and the Packers defense. That's where the game is going to be won. Who's going to play better, right? The Bears offense or the Packers defense? Whoever plays better there is going to win the game. Because obviously you're going to trade touchdowns back and forth with the Bears D and then obviously with Rajas. And that's big facts. But that's what I would do. So, I mean, Chris, you can go either way. But, I mean, I would feel more comfortable, at least against the Buccaneers in week 1. I mean, if Lamar goes off and gets you, I don't know how your point structure is. But if he ends up getting, let's say, like, quote-unquote, 30 points, and then Jimmy G only gives you 20, 21 or 2, but you still win, that's all that matters. But, I mean, I just don't believe in the Buccaneers. I hate to say it. I mean, it's my team. I even talked to some 49er fans today when I ended up doing the video early and then the biggest hits of preseason, and they wished me luck. Oh, you guys are going to be good, but I really don't. I think that it's going to clash Arians and Jameis. Jameis is just going to do whatever he wants, throwing off his back foot. I mean, Chris Godwin's going to play great. Evans and O.J. Howard will play great, but I don't trust the running backs. I don't trust the O-line. It's booty. Jameis is booty, right? The defense is booty, except for Sue, right? Levante David, Devin White, the rookie. I mean, really, is there anything else? I mean, Hargraves was kind of a bust. I mean, they don't have enough for me. JPP is not healthy. Vita Vea is injured. I mean, the best case scenario, like Mr. Cole says, maybe 8-8. But, I mean, at that point, I might as well just go 3 wins, 4 wins. 3-13, that sounds good to me. Get a high draft pick, Because if you get over 7 wins and you go 8-8, they're going to give Jameis the money. And I don't want that to happen. I can't have that happen. I won't have that happen. It's hard for me to be a Buccaneer fan to begin with, and then I don't want to root for a knucklehead quarterback. I mean, like, morals mean something to me. Having a guy that's a class act. My favorite player of all time, Ken Griffey Jr., I met him when I was 7. I met Sandy Koufax at 10 with my dad, my dad's hero, my hero in baseball. Dame Dalla, Damian Lillard, class act, on and off the field. Derek Brooks, class act, on and off. I can't root for a knucklehead. I hate to say it. I know some people think Zeke is, and sometimes he makes bad decisions, but I think he can correct it, from just being young and immature and being mature. Jameis, I just feel, is just like got that knucklehead mentality forever. I don't know if he'll ever grow up, And I'd rather have him grow up somewhere else. He can go to some other team. I'll move on. Like I said, I'd rather have Fitzmagic starting for my team this season, if that tells you anything. That's a Band-Aid, and he's old as hell. But, I mean, I just want to lose games. I mean, obviously I want to see my team win, right? But I just don't think they have the right pieces in place. You don't have the right secondary. You should have drafted a running back like in maybe Josh Jacobs this season, and you didn't. That was stupid. You could have got, Montgomery. You could have got someone that could have really have helped you out. Instead, you have booty-ass Peyton Barber and Jones. Come on, It is what it is. But at least I can root for the Chiefs. I can root for the Saints. I can root for the Eagles and a few other teams. I'm excited for the season. We got the Packers. We got the Bears. I believe it's at 5:30 tomorrow. I'll be live. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I didn't want to make it too drawn out. I just wanted to give you my all, right? Give you my energy, my passion, give you my list, give you my reasoning. Some will agree, some will not. But at the end of the day, you'll know one thing, that you ended up watching a good show. It wasn't some bullshit on ESPN or CBS or Skip and Shannon or some fabricated bullshit where they have bias, where they're getting money to say that the Cowboys are going to win this or that. You're just going to get straight facts. And I know that's why you guys love the show. And I got one question for you. One question. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, which is not a question, but I want you to do that. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and then now I have one question for you. Who you know talks sports like us? It's your boy Orion, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you smash the like button on the way out. I will be back tomorrow live. Packers, Bears. Marcus hopefully will be here for at least a half, if not the whole game. If not, no worries. Your boy will go solo if I have to for the second half or the whole game, and I'll do it. But I think he's going to try to come for at least the first half. I'm hoping. I'll do the whole game. It'll be lit. You'll get the best play-by-play and color commentary, period, on YouTube. I love you guys. I hope you guys have a great night. Get ready. Sleep with your jersey on tonight, because after tonight, fantasy football, it matters. The regular season matters, and everything is going to be amazing in this 2019 season. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and get ready for tomorrow. Get your popcorn ready. Peace.